What is up, Bitcoiners? Before we get into this great interview with the CEO and founder of Strike, Jack Mallers, we've got a quick couple housekeeping things. Bitcoin 2023 will be in Miami again. We're looking forward to having you. There's going to be many great speakers, such as the Giga Chad himself, Michael Saylor, analyst of Credit Suisse, Zoltan Pulsar, Lynn Alden, Matt Odell, Dylan LeClaire, and many other great speakers being announced by the week. We're really looking forward to bringing this conference. You can go to b.tc/conference and use the code BMLive to stack some sats with your savings in the bear market. Next, the broke issue just launched with SBF on the cover, SBF the fraud. We're looking forward to many great articles in this. You could also get the Orange Party issue by going to bitcoinmagazine.com. There's a great article by President Nayib Bukele in the Orange Party issue talking about him calling out the IMF, central bankers, and the World Bank. So it's a really great article. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the broke issue to read many great articles in there as well. You can also use the code BMLive to save some sats. And now back to the interview. Thanks, guys. What's up, Bitcoiners? We're really excited for this interview. A prominent Bitcoiner that needs no introduction is the CEO and founder of Strike, Jack Mallers. Jack, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Yo, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Thanks for having me.
Doing well. Thanks for coming by. We're looking forward to talking to you today. So at the time of recording this, the news will be dropping. So we're really looking forward to this. Bear markets have traditionally been known for building, and it seems like this bear market is no different. I know that taken note that you are less active on Twitter. Maybe you're crushing a Noster. I'm still not there yet fully myself.
Oh, but man, I got to hear your excuse for that, but continue.
My excuse is that I've just been really busy building on my own. But definitely someplace I got to get over. I'd love to get welcomed by Jack Dorsey. I see that he's been thumbing up and hugging people as they enter in. So it's on my to-do list. Maybe this weekend I'll get over there. But what's Strike building right now? Looking forward to hearing about this.
We're building a lot of stuff. We try to always stay busy, but the reason I'm here and I'm really excited is launching instant cheaper mints from the United States to the Philippines. So we partnered with Pouch, which I'll shout out Pouch, shout out Ethan. I love those guys. And we're allowing Strike users to send instant cheap dollars received as Filipino pesos in a matter of seconds to phone number, local bank account, all the local payout methods in the Philippines. So really disintermediating and revolutionizing the way people experience cross-border payments, hopefully.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know a lot in the copy that you sent to us, you were saying that it's one of the largest remittance markets in the world. I think over $35 billion flows into the Philippines every year. And of that, 12.7 billion, I believe, was coming from the United States alone. So obviously, it's very important. And you've talked about ad nauseum about how the Lightning Network can disrupt the remittance payment industry, make it cheaper, faster, safer. There's many different things. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, it's the craziest thing, man. Like Bitcoin, a lot of people don't appreciate, maybe Bitcoin Magazine readers do, but what I think the general public doesn't appreciate is the fact that Bitcoin's a bearer physical instrument. So like, here's my Gatorade. This is a physical instrument. I'm moving it around physically, right? It's going through gravity as I move it. So is Bitcoin. The bytes of data are representative of a physical instrument, like a bar of gold. So now the fact that Now, do you think I'm strong enough to be able to throw this Gatorade bottle from here into the Philippines? No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm 5'8" and I'm 150 pounds. However, I am strong enough, and so is everyone in the world, to be able to move Bitcoins from here to the Philippines, or from the Philippines to Nigeria, from Nigeria to Australia, right? And so it's the concept that you can actually settle physical value instantly and at no cost to the two independent parties that are conducting a financial service. That's a mind-blowing thing, because a lot of the speed deficiencies, right, like the delays and the costs that are with SWIFT or with a Western Union, are because of counterparty risk, because of the intermediaries, because of slow settlement between two nation-governed currencies. And so the fact that I can get something of physical value from here into the Philippines, all we have to do is build a really good user experience. That, here, how many dollars do you want? Get it to the Philippines. How many pesos are they going to get? And then you've totally reinvented cross-border payments. So I never get bored talking about this stuff. It's still, I can't wrap my head around it. The fact that I can get something of physical value and chuck it to the other side of the world. Never before have you had a physical bearer instrument that's digital. So now the internet can escrow physical values. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen countless videos among Twitter, maybe soon to be Noster, of people like paying for things. And I know you're famous for the one video of paying one of your engineers. You were sitting in Chicago and he's sitting in the UK, and you just
Yeah.
send him, money with no restrictions basically. And I've even seen a lot of people paying. There was this one woman paying from Kenya into Nigeria, and she paid for this woman's like cupcakes, and it's just very cool, like the interoperable open protocol basically. So I guess, what do you think the global impact can be on the adoption if it takes over the remittance market? I know you've kind of already integrated this with El Salvador in 2021 with your announcement. Now you're going to the Philippines, but just the broader strokes of what this can do for global Bitcoin adoption and its use case.
Well, I think first of all, like what it can do for humanity, international payments is a massive industry, right? And so not only are you're making it cheaper and you're making it faster, which is huge. And by the way, it's not hard to sell, for the record. Uh, Sometimes Bitcoin in certain environments can be difficult to sell to a normie. Getting cheaper, faster payments is not difficult to sell. Many of the times, better exchange rates, and also it's more accessible. I can send a cross-border payment on Strike to the Philippines to the tune of $1. So it's more accessible, it's cheaper, it's faster, it's safer, and it's on this open network. So the economies of scale and the network effects that come with that are super unprecedented. So I think humanity improving international transfer and having more interconnectivity financially with each other, that's a huge deal. I mean, we saw what happened when there was more interconnectivity with communications over the internet. What the internet did for communications, I think Bitcoin and Lightning can do for monetary financial services. So I think we're in the early innings, like we're in layup lines of what's eventually going to come from international cross-border payments. And I mean, what like for Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin is like acid. Whatever it touch, it destroys and bleeds through. Bitcoin's going to run its course, no matter bull or bear, no matter what I do. We hope to be helpful, and I think Bitcoin can be helpful to people in a variety of ways. So we hope that we're delivering value using Bitcoin as a payments network to settle value between us and Pouch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, just another node on the network. I think that's a term that you've said in the past before. I know recently you just tweeted out that you're integrating with Fiserv and Clover Commerce. So I know in 2022, a big point of your talk was talking about going after the point of sale and merchant adoption. How does that integrate, or how do you see that integration, not just with the send globally, but now also integrating into the merchant side of things? If you can talk more about that integration that you just talked about.
Yeah, but I mean, so like again, back to the internet. I love the analogy. Does TCP/IP know the difference when I'm streaming a video on YouTube, or I'm texting my mom, or I'm gambling on an NBA game? These are all just internet requests. And so Lightning doesn't know the difference either. Our API and a lot of the services and software we've built, Pfizer's interested in it. People in the Philippines are interested in it. NCR is interested in it, right? It kind of like, I think of the Lightning Network as the value transfer protocol for planet Earth, in the same way that the internet, all encompassing, is the communications protocol for planet Earth. Whether you're sending a text, sending an email, watching a video, playing a song, you're using the internet to communicate that message. And I think for Lightning, whether you're buying a coffee, whether you're issuing payroll, whether you're sending money home to the Philippines, you'll be using the world's value transfer protocol. So that's how we see it. We think it's going to dematerialize a lot of these independent bifurcated networks. And so it's a really cool property of our business, is we get to serve a variety of customers all in financial services with one tech stack.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you make a big point. I've seen a lot of your interviews with mainstream media and such, that obviously you're building out Strike, and it's imperative to you and your employees and your customers that you're successful and that you're still viable. But you always hammer home this point that it's like you're building on top of an open protocol that is the Lightning Network. And you make that point very clear. You're like, Strike's important. I love Strike, but if we go away tomorrow, the Lightning Network and Bitcoin don't disappear. So I guess, can you iterate that on that, or hammer that point home again, that there's Bitcoin, there's the Lightning Network, and then there's the companies that come around it. Their companies are going to come and go. And we've kind of seen in 2022, a lot of companies come and go at times of hardship.
Yeah, well, it's pretty funny. I don't know of any Lightning companies that have gone. Maybe that speaks to the integrity and the quality of those that focus on the right things. I think I'll stick with the internet analogy as long as I'm keeping it simple. How valuable of a company would Google be if they were the only website on the web? I'm no genius, but they'd be worth fucking zero because there'd be no information on the web to index. And so a network is only as strong as its participants. I got to be able to pay someone else's invoice, and someone's got to be able to pay the invoices that I create. And so the concept is that the open network will dematerialize the closed bifurcated networks. You cannot possibly compete with that. I have more people working on my network than PayPal has on theirs. And you'd think to yourself, what the fuck? Strike isn't even 3 years old yet. How is that possible? Well, there's no Strike network. It's the Bitcoin and Lightning network. There are more people working on Bitcoin than there are on PayPal. And think about that for a second. If Dan Schulman, CEO of PayPal, said, hey, everyone that works at PayPal, you need to take 365 days away from the keyboard and go on a full year vacation, PayPal would not get any better as a company. If I were to tell Strike employees, we're not going to work on Strike for the next 365 days, Strike would be better. Our products, our services, our company would be more valuable in a year, whether we're working on it or not. There's going to be more nodes on the network, more pouches that spring up all over the world, more people integrating into point of sales, more wallets that could check out at our point of sale integrations. So it's such a powerful concept, that idea of open network effects and economies of scale. And Google, dude, Google's worth what, $1 trillion fucking dollars. The value to that business was built like what, 30 years ago at this point, something like that, 20, 30 years ago. The product hasn't changed. What's changed is the value of the internet and the dense information that they're indexing on the web. That's what's changed. Google hasn't really done much. Of course, there's Gmail and stuff, but the ability to index and search the web is their core product, and that hasn't changed. What's changed is the size and the value of the web itself. And we try and operate the same way. Is that I'm very bullish long tail on Bitcoin and Lightning. I think the value of this open value transfer protocol for planet Earth is only going to grow, and Strike is going to hopefully play a minority part, but it's not a winner take most or winner take all market. In fact, the part of the thesis is that there's going to be many, many, many winners in dematerializing the biggest industry on planet Earth, which is payments.
Yeah, and I think that's a great analogy. I guess tying that back into the Internet of Things. So obviously, in the late 90s, a lot of people were talking, you just slapped a .com or you said that you're doing Internet of Things. And, you saw this crazy boom and run up in the stock market and all of that. For every pets.com, there's an Amazon, a diamond in the rough. Obviously, you and I believe Bitcoin is that diamond in the rough, and it's going to only keep getting bigger and better. But where would you say, if you're comparing Bitcoin and the Lightning Network to the internet adoption, where do you say that we are? Do you think we're in the late 90s and we just saw the crash in 2022? Do you think we're more even earlier than that? Do you think we're later than that? Do you think that's probably a good analogy? I'd love your thoughts on that.
I don't know, dude. I could if you want my thoughts, I can give you my best effort. But the way I think about it, and I preach internally to the company, is just focus on giving value today. Right? People speculate about hyper Bitcoinization or here's the chart of Amazon, plot where you are. I don't fucking know. But I do know that I can now send an instant cross-border payment from my US dollar account to the Philippines. That's incredible. That's never been able to be done before. That's a jaw-dropping experience because of this technology. Oh, and then what am I going to do tomorrow? Look to add another market, look to add another country, look to add another point of sale provider, look to whatever. And so I think what's the children's book where the boy tells the horse, I can't see over the trees. How are we going to get out of the forest? And the horse goes, I can't either. We should probably just focus on taking our next step. And that's my take. I don't know. Maybe I'll live to see hyper Bitcoinization. Maybe I won't. But I bet you're damn ass, I bet I could change a lot of the world if I just focus on controlling what I can control tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I don't know. What do you think? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of speculation, so I agree. It's who am I to decide where we are? I just know stay humble, stack sats from my buddy Matt Odell, so that's just kind of what I'm sticking with. So I know you guys have had your setbacks in Strike. Many Bitcoin companies, have weathered 2022. There's been some layoffs that have come, unfortunately. Bitcoin Magazine was hit with that as well. I know your announcement from B22 was talking about the integration of, buying Coke over Tor with NCR and Blackhawk. Where are those at? I'm just curious. I know that there's kind of setbacks. What were the biggest setbacks? Technical things? Was it more on the company side of things of concerns about Bitcoin? I'd love your thoughts on all of that.
All the above, dude. I mean, like maybe where did you say you're based? North Carolina. I'd come have a whiskey with you, and I'll tell you insane stories. But no, all the above. But I think it's super important. Like I wrote that blog post that I own it, man. Like I'm 28 years old now. I found a strike. I was 24, 25. And I'm an idiot in many ways. And I got way too excited. These companies, a lot of these businesses we're working with are Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, and it's super complicated. And you mix a little bit of a bear market and a Sam Binky Bankman fraudster Freed, and it gets complicated. And so I own it 100%. And I tried to write that, and I put my hand up, and I hope that I make plenty more mistakes, even bigger than that, because I'm not going to stop trying to be the most ambitious guy in the room. I love it. Just saying that outright, I think is super important. Is that there's no finger pointing on my side at all. I own it, and these things are really hard and really challenging. But that's why we go after them. So then, speaking of that, they're going well, dude. I mean, learning what I've learned now and what it takes to dethrone Visa, they're going really fucking well. If I could rewind time, I'd do a few things differently. But there's NCR is super particular on what I'm allowed to say. So we're in a lot of their latest versions, and we're looking forward to. They serve the biggest retailers in the world. That's why they're the national cash register. So we're super excited about keeping our head down and getting some merchants live. And Blackhawk, we should have our first merchant live well within this quarter any week now. You guys saw Clover, and we've got some more stuff too. But I've learned my fucking lesson, man. I'm not going to open my mouth. So that's what I don't know. You can ask me whatever you want, but that's kind of my blanket statement.
No, I think that's awesome. I think there's many mistakes along the way. Hopefully people don't lose too many sats with the mistakes they do make. It happens to all of us. I've been, knock on wood, I've been lucky to not lose any sats. I had a couple close calls with certain things, moving funds from here to there and testing out things, breaking things. But I guess that's what it is when you're adopting this global money, and we're trying to beat central bankers, basically. Well, when you're not busy like educating Dave Portnoy and stuff like that, the inner workings of the bear market and businesses that have gone bust, we don't need to name them here, but the laundry list of all those names that are in trouble or now no longer with us. What has been this bear market been like for you? I know you've been around at least 10 years in this industry. So how does this stack up to other ones? More optimistic, more like this is going to be a long bear market? I know we don't need to speculate. You and I both don't know. We could say the price could go up, price could go down. It's going to go the complete opposite direction of whatever we say. But what are your thoughts on this bear market compared to other ones?
So I think a few things. One, the longer Bitcoin survives and is alive, the better news, right? Like Bitcoin's not going away at this point. First bear market I saw was Gox. I remember running up to my dad's room and being like, "Is it over?" And he was like, "No, fuck, do your homework." But I thought it was over, and there was good reason for that at the time, right? Bitcoin was tiny, and now I think the more Bitcoin survives, I mean, I don't think there's not a soul on planet Earth that thinks Bitcoin's going away at this point. So I think you encompass that in a bear market. I don't know. This is one of the easier ones I've ever been through, just at how far along Bitcoin is in its life cycle. The one super interesting thing I think is this is the first bear market where it's also a bear market for the macro environment as well. This is the first recession Bitcoin's been through. So it's not just Bitcoin that's having a tough time. I'll tell you this, I've never been through a Bitcoin bear market where Netflix stock at one point was performing worse than Bitcoin. That I've never been through. And so I don't know, though. I mean, to be totally honest with you, as Bitcoiners, we're pretty seasoned and mentally and physically prepared for these type of markets. And I think Bitcoin, it's never been a more validating time for Bitcoin to exist and be as strong as it is. So I don't know, man. I'm confident, patient. I'm staying humble. I'm stacking sats. But that's the one differentiator is Facebook stock is more of a shit coin than any of these other things. So that's crazy.
Yeah, and we get a lot of flack, friends and family and whatnot being like, yo, Bitcoin's down so much. I'm like, well, it's been worse. And then on top of that, all the other tech stocks are probably doing even worse than Bitcoin. So, it's funny when they're like, oh, Bitcoin's down. It's like, well, this is, this has happened 4 or 5 other times at least.
Yeah, like, sorry, but obviously, like, if someone goes from $0 to 1,100, then down to 200, then 20,000, then down to 3,000, then 70,000, then down to 20,000, and then obviously, if you just plot the beginning to the end, it's who fucking cares if it takes its roller coaster there. But I think the really interesting part that I'm super excited to watch is how Bitcoin reacts on the back half of this recession. Because if you go to 2008, assets that have some relative fixed quantity, everything, by the way, between gold to like soybeans, like anything that has a relative fixed quantity implies that it does not have a direct relationship with interest rates. And it's a really important concept. And so Bitcoin has never been in this market. So 2008, if you're going to artificially inflate the strength of the dollar, which is what the Fed does, then I don't care if you're the scarcest thing in the world. If you're a 101 Van Gogh painting, like, the Fed's going to impact you if they're just going to shock planet Earth with rates like this. But on the back half of it, so a la 2010, 2011 is where you start to saw gold and even soybeans, anything with fixed quantity, start to decouple and really show off the fact that they don't have a direct relationship with interest rates. So I'm super curious about that, is that if you mark this recession, starting in 2022, well, recession, I don't know by whose definition, but the downturn in 22, and so 2008, 2010, 22 would map us 24. And I'm just like napkin math. And you put a halving in the mix there. I'm pretty curious. Like, everyone can mock Bitcoin now, but mock whatever you want. Everything is having a reaction to the dollar right now. It's artificially strengthened. There's nothing you could do about it. It's part of the fiat world that I was born into. You don't blame me for that. But on the back half of it, man, Bitcoin's the most fixed quantity asset in the history of humanity. It's the only asset that has a guaranteed finite supply. Everything else, right, you can always make more of if you have enough of an incentive. So I'm super curious to see that. The version of 2010 that looks like it'll probably be 2024. We'll see.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. So obviously we've seen Bitcoin in the Lightning Network. We've beaten the finance industry. Fuck whatever Jamie Dimon says. It's a pet rock or whatever. I love it when he says this, but then he'll gladly sell crypto, promissory notes, or just like bash on Bitcoin, but then he'll sell his high net worth clients Bitcoin. But enough bashing on Jamie Dimon. Obviously, we're beating the remittance network with a lot of the help that you're doing with Send Globally, and we're also seeing integration into oil and gas companies. We've seen the Shell announcement; they're sponsoring Bitcoin 2023. We're very excited to have Shell as a sponsor for our conference. I guess, what industries do you also see Bitcoin changing or interacting with, aside from the ones that I just listed?
The ability to store and persist wealth across, obviously, the market size of persisting wealth across time is people. Listen, like, moving and transporting and selling value across space from here to the Philippines, that's awesome. And we're super excited about it. Moving $1 million from the year 2023 to the year 2043 is huge too. So money is the most valuable market good in human history. In order to have a functioning society, I think the scientific is over 200 people. You need a monetary instrument to solve the coincidence of wants. And so the opportunity to improve humanity, I don't know, oil, gas, energy, payments, the ability to store and persist wealth and fix the money, fix the world.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And obviously, you've built your business on, Strike and its open network, like we've mentioned a few times in this interview. I guess 2 other protocols that seem to be popping up from it is Nostr, which we talked about earlier, and then Taro. What are your thoughts on both of those protocols, and how will they persist? Do you think they will die? Do you think it's just Bitcoin growing and propagating through and trying to just meet different market needs?
Yeah, well, Nostr, I don't know if it has as much a correlation to Bitcoin as something like Taro, but I'm a huge fan of all of it. I think open networks are beautiful. Open, accessible networks are magical, and I love everything I'm seeing. I'm a huge fan of Nostr. I've said it a million times. I think Jack Dorsey's one of the greatest entrepreneurs in human history. I think he's my goat personally. And so and everything that I don't even know how to pronounce Fiat Jaff. How do I say? And
Yeah, Fiat Joff. Yeah.
and Zebedee and Andre and all of them, like huge shout out and kudos. It's been unbelievable to watch. And I got I'm on Nasser and I hang out there. It's remarkable. So I'm a fan of open networks generally. And yeah, I mean, as far as Taro, like listen, like again, the network's only as strong as its participants. So I mean, if Taro works, that's amazing. Right? I'm pretty curious to kind of like actually. I'm curious about a few parts, and I'm paying close attention just to see how it actually works out and pans out and actually hits the market. But theoretically, it's open network, free market competition. I mean, the best experience wins. And with Strike, we don't really have too much of a market bias. We don't care. We're on Lightning. We're bullish Lightning, and we're going to be here hopefully forever. So.
Yeah, no, I think I echo your sentiments with Jack Dorsey. I think he's one of the best entrepreneurs, if not the best of all time. Even with stepping away from Twitter and then now, it'd be very interesting to see. I know he was doing a lot with like Blue Sky and just kind of using the open protocols to try and beat. I think it would be pretty awesome to build a, multi-billion-dollar company only to leave it and then build an even better company in what he's working with. And I know he's working on a lot of different things. I guess my last thing is we're getting to time here, and I don't want to keep you too long. I guess the Lightning Network's great, and there's many things that are awesome about it, but there are issues a lot of times with liquidity and things like that. Not to FUD the Lightning Network. I love it. I use it all the time. But I guess one thing that I'm personally interested in is Bolt 12 and the improvements on that. Is there any improvements aside from Bolt 12 or maybe Bolt 12 that you're excited for that potentially are integrated into Lightning? Like you said, like if you guys were to walk away from Strike and leave for 365 days, Strike's business, if you were to come back tomorrow or, in a year from now, would still be a better company because of the improvements on Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. What are your thoughts there?
I'm a big Bull 12 proponent. I think it's unbelievable. It retains a lot of the properties that make Lightning Network extremely important, accessible, a lot of privacy guarantees that are in Bull 12. Super, super, super important, I think, in the long tail longevity of this thing. I commonly say internally, my kids, hopefully, which by the way, I don't have any, are going to be scanning Lightning Network QR codes one day. So thinking with that time preference in mind, I think Bull 12 is huge and retains the properties of the network and allows us to get a lot of added benefits. So Bull 12 is probably the most exciting property that I, and then speaking on behalf of Strike, are excited about, that has a lot to do with our products and our vision and what we're going to be working on over the next decade. So my answer would probably be Bull 12 for sure.
That's awesome. All right, Jack, now that we're at the end of the interview, anything else you want to add that I did not ask you or anything that just final messages you want to leave to the audience? Thanks for joining us today, by the way.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. I love you guys have been part of my career the whole time. I love Bitcoin Magazine. You guys are the best. No, try to send US dollars to the Philippines received as a PHP. It's cool as fuck. It doesn't feel real when you do it. It feels like magic. It's not. It's a Lightning Network payment. And give it a try. I think cross-border payments 1 to 2 years from now are going to look entirely different, all because of the Lightning Network and everyone that's building on top of it. So we're excited. And yeah, I don't know. I'll post some Philippines charity, or I'll find something fun between now and Tuesday for people to give it a try to.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, Jack. We really appreciate your time. Once again, this was Jack Mallers, the CEO of Strike. Thanks, Jack. Have a good one, everyone. Peace.
Much love, brother. Peace.